think one thing I had to add to that is whenever I first started, and like I was when I first opened, I was working like 80, 90 hours a week because we were open 7 days a week till 9. And I was just on Sunday morning, there was nobody come in. I'm just like, I hear the door ding, So, but I had the owner of Borderland who knew, he used to come in and after the field, and we would talk. And he used to work in the corporate world and everything, and he was like consultant and stuff. So, but eventually he said, it's going to come a time, I said, when you can't do all this yourself. He said, you're gonna have to learn how to let people do things.
Hey guys, welcome to the West Coast Initiative. I'm your host, Alex Castillo, here with another episode for you guys. Today we interview Daryll and Denise from Velocity Paintball. They own a store and field up in Ramona. They've been in the industry for about 25 years. They share their story of their paintball industry, how they got into it, also the longevity of their store and field, how they have to go through challenges through the recession, having to be able to adapt, having to be able to be open-minded about new things, and also dedication to their staff and players. It's a really good one. You guys are definitely going to get a lot out of it. I got a lot out of it, just wanting to get longevity of my business and whatnot. So without further ado, let the talk begin. Hey guys, welcome to the West Coast Initiative. I'm your host, Alex Castillo, here with my boy, Matt. Hello, Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just got to say it, man. Last night was a damn good night, man. We had the college football championship. Alabama, Nick Saban won their 7th title, record-setting 7th title for Nick Saban. So that was awesome. And Bachelor was a good episode. So it was a damn good Monday night. It was a damn good Monday night.
That's good to hear.
So,
And speaking of sports, we have a really special one for the audience.
Yes, we do.
I feel like it's a very underrated sport, to be honest. And we have both Daryll and Denise from Velocity Paintball, who have been in the industry for 25 years, I believe, right? More than 25 years? Yeah. So, and how are you guys today? How are you guys doing? How's the park? How's the store? How's everyone?
No, we're good.
Yeah, everybody's kind of plugging along. It's kind of, outside kind of game. So people are looking to get outside any way they can right now. So
yeah, exactly.
And that's really cool because actually I feel like paintball is the only sport, and for people out there who have not dabbled into paintball or anything like that, I feel like it's the only sport that's really social distance type of sport, right? Because everybody, if you're playing paintball, especially at Velocity, which is very big on scenario and woods ball, there's a lot of space in between, and you guys are really regulating the rules very well with mandatory reservations, not get only like a few people to a bunker to really help out the sport grow still within this tough times, honestly. So it's a really good venture that you guys are doing. How is the park right now during the COVID times?
Well, you're the one who do reservations, so
it's good. I mean, we're pretty fortunate. I mean, like you're saying, we're outside. We're already distanced. So we're seeing a lot of new people. We're busy every weekend, and it seems busy because the capacity is limited. So we're selling out every weekend. But it'd be nice to sell out at a regular number than
right.
You know what's a crazy thing I feel like though? So I was out of the game for a while. I took a little hiatus, and honestly, this COVID time really reflected me back. My fiance, she's never really experienced me playing paintball until recently, right? And during this COVID time, I was like, you know what? Like I started watching old videos of paintball. I want to get back into it. And of course, I go back to your guys' field, Velocity Paintball, and oh my God, the rush and the memories that came back from just playing, even the smell of paintball in the morning.
Sound hitting in front of you, it kind of all comes back.
Yeah. So for the audience who are new to paintball or whatnot like that, can you guys explain the game of paintball to the audience?
Well, we started this out when we first opened up. Most people didn't even know about paintball, so we spent a lot of time informing people about what it was. So kind of a little bit like that now, where a lot of people are just searching for something to do.
Right.
People are new to this. We're seeing a lot of new faces, so we have to explain to them. They've known somebody who's played, so that's helped. So they have an idea. But then when they just need to have all the rules explained to them and kind of give them a little peace of mind that it's not, you know, it's not as bad as you think it is. You know, everybody talks about, you know, how it hurts, and you know, we try to do our best to keep beginner players apart, you know, so no bunkering, you know, so a lot of people come to us for that first experience when, you know, veteran players will bring their friend who's never played. They'll come to us because they know we try to take care of those new players to make sure that they don't have a bad experience. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys have like really seen like the sport grow. I mean, just like you said, being around it for like 25 plus years, you know, possibly. I mean, how
back up again.
yeah, I mean, how has it changed? I mean, if it's changed at all.
Wow, that's a broad question. When we first started, I mean, there was, you know, you didn't even have a tank on your gun, you know, so
oh wow,
there was no electric equipment. There was so things have evolved mechanically, and made the game a lot more how do you say, less mechanical. You know, it didn't require you to know a whole lot about stuff later on, you know, like tinkering with the gun. In the early days, it was all about, you know, tinkering. It was like working on a car.
Oh, okay.
So people love that. So there are certain people that do, but then when you start getting a lot more people in the game, then they don't have the patience for fixing something, and they just want to go out and play. So electric guns came out and made it simpler, and brought a lot more people into the game, and the economy was going great. So people just, you know, were playing and playing and playing. The crowds were crazy, you know, I don't know how far back you played, but it was
go back
really
to
busy.
2003, and that was like probably, it was getting to the one of its highest. It was building up. It's going to its peak.
And then when the economy hit, you know, with the housing crunch, all that, everything just kind of plummeted. And for the most part, paintball had never experienced a downturn, so it was kind of hard to. Everybody, we're all in everything we did for like 10 years was like uncharted territory. We just when's the bubble gonna burst? When's it gonna burst? And sure enough, it's burst, and people left the sport like crazy because, you know, you don't have any disposable income at that point. And, you know, entertainment was, you know, way down on the list for priorities, and took quite a few years for that to resolve. And that's how low impact paintball, you know, with kids like 6-7 years old, with the smaller balls, low velocity, that's helped us build a new customer, you know, get them started a little earlier. Because I mean, the parks were empty, you know, tournaments were emptying out. So the industry had to do something. So that's how we started rallying back, and things have been doing really well now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, the longevity of Velocity Paintball. I mean, you guys, of course, know how many paintball fields have opened up around the San Diego area and have closed down so many as well. You know, the longevity you guys have done, and you guys are doing something right, of course, because you guys are still continuing to produce great moments, great memories at that park as well. So I applaud you guys, and it's an honor to have you guys on the show.
Definitely.
That's what we do. I just keep my eye on what I do. I don't, you know, I listen to competition, but I don't react to, you know, them trying to do something to us, or that, you know, and just kind of do our thing, and we do it right, and everybody knows it, and they keep coming back, and people are coming and going. But, you know, but it is sad right now because there's a couple parks that have left, and you know, that's not a good thing for paintball. But unfortunately, there's a lot of city issues like permitting and just land grabbing, and, you know, that's kind of shoved people out of paintball because it's, you know, requires some property to do. So that's a little bit disconcerting.
So let's go to the history of Velocity. Like, how did Velocity came about? Or was it like you playing, or you and Denise started playing at a young age, or how did Velocity really start? You know, did it start at the park? Did it start the store? What was the history of it?
Well, it started out in like '93. I had a friend who was my partner to start with. And that was I knew Denise then, but we weren't married then. And we were doing this, and we were playing. It was back before, you know, you had like pump guns, and, you know, it was really basic. So, and it was really expensive. You know, paint was like, you know, $125 for a box.
Wow.
Versus now, you know, so when I hear people complain about the price of paint, right, you don't. But you didn't shoot as much either. But so we were playing this, and we're like, you know, we're getting into it. We want better stuff, and so we start. I think I can remember the sporting company at the time. Sport Mart, I think was the name. We went there just like any other first-time customer. And now you go to some corporate store, they, you know, they have a few things. We got into it. They were okay stuff, and then we started looking for something better. And then we found stores like Paintball Connection and I can't remember the names now for San Diego Paintball in Spring Valley. And then but when we went there, they would say they're open, but then they're not. And then they had these hours that had gaps, and they're like open on Tuesday, but not Thursday. It was like this real, guess that was open.
Oh yeah.
So we started looking at, I had all the neat guns that we were looking at, and we were like really interested, like, oh, this is neat. And then, so we go to fill our tanks, and that's all new, came out. So we go there, they say they're open, they're not. And then so we go to another store, and then he's showing us new stuff, and everything he's telling us is new, but then you can see the dirt inside the grip, and it's paint in the barrel. It's not used. It's new. I mean, it's not new. It's used. So there's being dishonest. And then we were down. I lived in Bonita, and they were down that area. There was nothing there, so we kept talking about, we should do something small, like swap meet or something like that. But every time we talked about it more and more, it came to a point of we need to open a whole store.
Oh,
so then we opened the store, and then it was like a little 700 square foot spot. And we said, we're gonna make this right. But we're open 7 days a week till 9. And everybody they knew where to go now, because nobody else wanted to commit to that level.
Right.
Yeah, and I remember that store. That was when I first, because I actually used to play down the street also too. I don't know if you guys remember, right in front of Plaza Bonita. There was like it was a free field, honestly. It was some people who made bunkers and whatnot. And the closest paintball store was Velocity Paintball. So we would always be at Velocity Paintball, either filling up tanks, buying paint and whatnot. So I remember that store very well. I especially remember the little fish food, seafood place. Right?
Oh yeah, TJ Oyster. Yeah.
Oh man, TJ Oyster bar. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite.
Fish tacos are great.
Oh yeah, I tell everybody to go there, man. And then even then, when you guys were open, like when I would tell people to go to TJ Oyster bar, I would always tell them, check out Velocity Paintball. Check out Velocity Paintball right next door. Because I remember going in there, and to me, it was like a Toys R Us. I was like, oh,
yeah. So that's what was you. We were at the smaller store, like right next to the TJ Oyster bar, and then we moved to the other one that was like from like 700 square feet to 1,800 square feet, like within a year. Like in 9 months, we already moved, and then in like a year later, we opened in Poway, and then so we were like, this is going, so just right place, the right time. And then we moved to, I just started saving money, and because every time on the phone, it was, where do you play? Because we had 2 stores, but nowhere to play.
Yeah.
And we pay all this money for Yellow Pages back in the day.
That's funny. That's how we
everybody
you
would
guys
call you. Everybody would call you. And then, where do you play this at? Where do you play this at? So we'd always refer people to Borderland, which was out there by Otay Lake, which I didn't even know was there when we opened the Bonita store. So coincidentally, just happened to be a good spot. But so I don't know where was I going with that. Yeah.
We're talking about. I think you were leaning towards
save money to open a field, and that was our next thing, and we've had the field ever since. So.
Wow. And when that field first started, how many fields did you guys have, or was it just one field that you guys have at the beginning?
Well, we bought it from San Diego Paintball, where he used to just drive his truck up there and rent some guns out of his truck, and had like string for boundaries and no improvements to the park or anything. So it was, again, one of these things where nobody really made the commitment to make this for real, like a real business. So again, that we had to do all the permits. So it took us like 1.5 years to open it up, even after we already bought it. So it took a lot of time. So fortunately, it was back in 1999. So things were a lot cheaper than they are right now. I think.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine.
I don't think we could do it again right now with the people. I mean, you notice most of the parks are either on a military base or an Indian reservation. So.
Yeah, and I see that. And sometimes it's, even with like, and the other parks to me are like even further, right? Like I think the closest one, the other second closest one is Camp Pendleton, right? And even then you have to give permission to be on base,
right?
At the moment too. And so I always loved Velocity, especially when I remember you guys had the 3-man series tournament too, and I think that's when you guys were really like booming, making a mark in paintball, especially in Southern California. And you guys had Matt's really new to the sport of paintball, but just to let Matt know, People had a lot of good competition.
Oh, really?
Like that. Even professional paintball players, teams going and practicing. I believe even like the Ironman Dynasty, a lot of teams have gone and grinded out at Velocity Paintball as well. So
yeah, we
that's
tried out a
awesome.
lot of things first. You know, we did airball first, we did hyperball first, we did speedball first. You know, in San Diego, so everybody kind of knew where to go. But we started out, like we said, that 3-man, like summer series, when summer was our slower time, and we did the summer series with all these recreational players were looking for something more competitive, you know, than just the day-to-day thing you do on the weekend. So we started just doing what was like two.
Yeah, it was like
at this time, Denise was
then,
in full time.
Yeah, full time. And then we had 4 events throughout the summer. We started right after school, got out in June. We do another one in July, another one in August, and then do one Labor Day.
We added one,
because it was so popular, we had to add an extra one. And we had 2 divisions when we started, and we ended up having 3 divisions.
But our whole goal was to feed.
Yeah, we wanted to feed
into the tournament series.
Yeah, the other regional events, and the players would go through the ranks, and then they'd play themselves out, and then they'd be upset because they couldn't play it anymore. So, you need to step up. You need to move on. You're good now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they all wanted to stay there. So
yeah,
but that's a good thing. Everybody was happy.
Yeah.
No, and that's good because you always need new players to come in and sometimes even the new players can be intimidated by those players who have been in there for such a long time. I see it in walk-ons a lot, because the new players who are beginners and stuff like that. That guy has a really cool gun. Am I going to be on his team?
Both places to play. The guys that have been playing a lot they need more, but the guys that haven't played, they need the the protection of still having a good time. Not intimidating them. So.
Yeah.
Right.
So
wow.
Knock on wood, I don't want to jinx it, but it feels like we have the good crowd right now. We have the guys that are veterans that really want to help out the newer players, and that's great for us because you always need the new players to come in because you're gonna be shooting the same people over and over again if you don't help them get better and help them enjoy the sport more. So that's always our goal.
Wow.
So as a paintball park owner or in paintball park store, and I know you've talked about the recession, what major challenges have you guys had? I mean, a part of that to keep on that longevity, to keep people going and whatnot. Like, can you explain those challenges that you guys had to go through those tough times?
Yeah, the tough times were, we had 3 retail stores at the time, and all that overhead, and 2,000 square feet here, 3,000 there, 1,800. So we tried to hold on for as long as we could, but at some point it was, like I said, I had a partner to start, and then I told him, I said, well, you know what, we only got room for one of us right now, so it's either I run it or you run it, and I was the one that was already running it, so it was we just had to shed stores, and that's why we moved Bonita, which was really tough because that was our original store, and it was hard to leave. It was nostalgic to us, like having 20 years there and having to make a decision to leave the mothership, So we moved out to Kearney Mesa, like 6-7 years ago now, and with one store, but it's small square footage. So that retail wise, with internet sales and everything, it's gone crazy with that. So we just kind of manage what we can do, and just understand what we need, what we can do, but don't go outside your, trying to, pick a fight with the big guys, because we don't have the money and inventory to do that kind of thing. So we focused on the field, after that happened. So, because no matter what, everybody has to play, whether you bought it from Amazon or wherever you bought it, you still need a place to play. So,
right.
So that's what we focused ours on, improving the park, and Denise can go through all that. She's the one that came up with most of the ideas for making all the changes. So that's how we got out of that. Took building new customers, like I said, with the low impact. Just we started going to trade shows and looking, what other fields were doing across the country, and we usually didn't really pay attention because everything just worked fine. So, but then, it started like, oh, we got to open our ears. It's
of course.
Maybe we're missing something, maybe we're not, or they've tried this, it didn't work. And, we just opened our mind to doing a lot of other stuff that, diversifying. We attempted Nerf, but we found it was just a little bit too young, I think. And it's not saying we wouldn't do it, but there was a lot of other areas that were easier to accomplish.
Yeah.
So
Wow. So
yeah.
I mean, I have a question. So I mean, you talked about in the beginning, you guys are into the sport, very early on, and then you guys decided to open a store, led to 3 stores, a park, whatnot. But yeah, I have a question. Where did you guys get like your business mindset? I mean, it sounds like you guys have the recipe. I mean, like you said, like Alex talked about the longevity, like you guys, like you're just speaking on. You guys have been around for a long time, and I don't think you guys are going anywhere. But where did that business acumen or that business mindset come from?
I guess I've always just thought that way to begin with. I've
Okay.
always been someone who's, just come up with something to make some money on. And I was really reluctant. I was looking, I just finished college and I was looking for a job, and this was like kind of I was interviewing and doing all these other things, and it was easy to say not do this because that's, more risky. But then I was like, well, I haven't got a job yet anyway, so why not do this? And kind of have my options open, but it worked out. So, but I always just, every time I go somewhere, I don't necessarily look at the restaurant like, oh, how many employees they have, like how much money they spend, I don't know. Just in my head, I just look at things like that.
Okay.
You go to McDonald's and you're like, God, there's like 5 people behind the counter and somebody still hasn't helped me yet. Stuff like that, Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
And Denise, what ideas did you implement? Because I know he has said that you had implemented some ideas. What ideas have you implemented that you think that changed Velocity for the long run?
Well, I think when we were looking for getting more people to be more consistent at the park during the economic downturn, I came up with the league. We did Velocity Paintball League for a while. Summer Series was gone. There wasn't enough teams anymore. And so we were trying to figure out a way to get people to play more often, even though it wasn't as affordable because people didn't have the income. So we had this 6-week league that would go on. And so every 6 weeks, they could pay like $75. They'd come in every Saturday morning. They'd play for 3 hours, and it would be like 3-man teams, and we would just mix it up. But the way we did it was more like a clinic every weekend, because they'd come in, we'd all stretch like teams, we'd do a practice, we'd learn a drill, we'd learn a new skill set to play the game. And then we got to watch a lot of kids kind of grow up in that and
Definitely
get more confident. And we had fathers and sons playing in the league. It was really cool. It was a really good time, and it lasted for probably about 4 or 5 years, and then that kind of fell off too. And then
teams kind of started coming back.
Teams came back.
They had an avenue to go to.
They wanted to do more, and the Paintball 101 wasn't it anymore, So money was coming back, so people wanted to spend more and do more and play more events. And then one of the other ideas I had was Splat Camp. When we were doing the low impact, we were doing birthdays and stuff, and we were trying to figure out a way to get more kids out to the park, because you'd have this dad show up with 2 kids and they wanted to play low impact, but it's like, well, it's just the 3 of you. Everyone else is playing regular, so it was really hard to have somewhere for them to play, somewhere for them to be. And Splat Camp is really taken off. We do it twice a month now, and we're getting anywhere from 20 to 40 parents and kids coming out and playing that.
And it's a little more affordable too for the parents to be able to bring kids out, especially if more than one kid.
Yeah, that's a goal too, is to make it affordable for them to come out the first few times and enjoy it and learn it. And then the kids get all excited, and the ones that are going to stick with it and the ones that are just, there for whatever, And then the other thing was one weekend, it was a Thanksgiving weekend. We had the airsoft event, and only kids showed up. And I'm like, okay, well, who's the youngest, and then, all right, who's the oldest? I said, all right, well, would you guys be happy if we did a Young Guns Day? And so that's kind of grown into something. And we always get the limit on that right now with COVID. We're always at the limit with them. They sell it out.
Oh, wow.
And there's 40 plus kids out there. and parents are allowed to play that one too, but they usually show up. They play the first 2 games with them, and then they just sit down the rest of the day. They're just like, I'll let the kids have at it. So
Yeah, they just need a little boost of confidence from the parents.
but they get their day. They're not influenced by any of the adults. They
Right.
work with the referees. They come up with their own games. They have a lot of fun. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Time trials.
Oh, time trials. Greg Hastings has this Hitman Air Powered time trials, and they did it at the big game up in Oregon a few years ago. And I saw a video. Devin, I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, he posted this video. I was seeing it, and he posted a video. I'm like, wow, now I get it. So time trials is kind of like 3-gun, where it's timed, you shoot targets and you move through 3 different sections. So
okay.
Right
now, it's a race, and it's a race against yourself. So
right
now it's set up for speed trials if you come out and try it. So Alex, you got to come out and try it. We got to do it.
So I thought that was.
And it saves the scores nationwide, or even internationally.
What'd you say, Alex?
Sorry, I thought for some reason that was only airsoft. It's also paintball too.
Oh yeah, paintball does it too. It actually started as paintball, but I know you were there the day that the kids were there doing it. Airsoft. Chase is the fastest one right now. He's on fire. He's below 35 seconds now doing the speed trials. It's no impact. We've got kids that'll come out and do it. They don't necessarily play paintball, but they feel confident doing the time trials because they're not getting shot at. They're not going to get hit. And they just kind of race against themselves. They don't have to, and it doesn't have to be a competition either. We had some kids out there last weekend, like, oh, we don't want to use the timer. We just want to do it. And it's like, okay, yeah, go ahead and shoot the targets,
And they were like,
so 9. It's another way of getting people into paintball without necessarily actually playing the game.
There's a lot of people are scared, and that's why the 50 cal, even for adults, has, some groups who do like a bachelorette party and they'll do all 50 cal guns, so because they don't want to hurt. So.
Oh man.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah, so that's a big thing right now.
Yeah.
No, and it's funny because my fiance's first time was the first. I think it was the first day of the year, right? Was it Denise?
I think so. You guys are there Tuesday.
Yeah, we were there for the first day of the year for you guys. I think it was the first January 1st because it was on a Friday. But she was very nervous. She was even on New Year's Eve. She was very nervous. She's like, "Oh my God, like I don't know how I'm gonna feel about getting shot." Like she's asking me these questions, like, "How does it feel getting shot?" More and more and more until. And it's kind of funny what you guys are saying that like people are afraid about getting shot or whatnot. But it's honestly like after that first game of anybody really, to be honest.
You're fine.
Yeah, you're like.
Yeah, because I went out with you for the first time and I was nervous, and then I got hit once and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like I was like, okay.
It just loses that fear,
Just a little adrenaline, it goes away.
When you're playing and the adrenaline's going, you don't even feel it. And sometimes you come home and you're like, oh, I didn't even know I got shot there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no. But yeah.
Do you guys still play, or do you guys just fully manage the business?
We play some 50 cal just because we've had our nephew out and cousins come out, and we haven't really played as much anymore. We're kind of mountain bike riding a little bit now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Change it up. It's like day after day, it doesn't have the appeal. It used to be like orders would come in and it felt like Christmas every day. But then now it's a lot of work too. So
right.
So, I bought a lot of stuff. So.
For the audience who wants to have their kid try paintball and whatnot, you had mentioned Splat Camp. Can you go a little bit more in depth about what Splat Camp is and whatnot?
All right. Well, Splat Camp is the low impact paintball. It's a smaller ball. It's lighter equipment. Fits in their hands better. We also turn the velocity down. It shoots between 170 to 200 feet per second, as opposed to the 285 feet per second, which is normal, regular paintball. The kids also get a chest protector that covers their torso front and back. You get the full face mask, you get the gun. So Splat Camp, it only costs them $25 to play. That includes paintballs. We control how much they get per game, but it is just a kind of like you're trying it out. And we'll play 3 different sets on 3 different fields. That's 2 games per set. And they get to try kind of 3 different formats too. So they get to see, capture the flag versus just elimination. And then we'll have even like a capture that we have those dummies that we put on the field too. And, you know, you got to go rescue the guy, you know, so they get to, you know, play
As kids.
Yeah,
That's
as
dope.
games for that. And then the parents will do the same thing in that one too, where they'll just kind of hang back and let the kids play. But it's kind of cool that to see the dads and daughters come out, you know, and take them through the field. And some of these girls, man, 6, 7-year-old girls, they're tougher than the 12-year-olds out there, you know. Pretty cool.
And that's a cool thing about paintball. It's not like any women and men can play, you know, and it's not like someone the physicality is going to be the man over the woman or anything like that. You know, it's really like it's a balance. It's a weird balance that, like, honestly, you know, as like I said, my fiance just realized, like, yeah, I could do this. Like, this is really fun. Like, it's actually really, and I mean, I don't know if you saw any of my snaps, Denise, but she was like diving into the bunkers. I was like, hey, don't look too hard.
Yeah.
All into it.
Yeah.
What we have? There's some ladies that are older. I don't know what they came up for. Someone's birthday.
Yeah.
The lady was like 80 years old. And she,
Wow.
Yeah.
so they went out there and played with the 68 caliber guns, and then they came back and was like, you know, can we get the other ones? You know, but I mean, we were 80 years old and she was out there playing, you know.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones were in their 60s. So I mean, it was, you know, there was, so you never see that in the early days. No one would come out.
We don't see that in other sports either, you know. You know.
Yeah, I was about to say you don't see people like that playing football, you know, like
I'm gonna hurt myself.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know, bro. Like you're like sore the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, you brought back like how things evolved, you know, from when things, you know, the economy went bad.
Right.
And stuff. When we first started, the paintball was like a big explanation, like it was an extreme thing to do, and you had to explain everything. And then later on, now it's just usually everybody knows somebody who's played this. You've heard about it, so it's turned out to be from an extreme game to more of an entertainment game. So the expectation is different, and the attention span of people are a lot different because there's so much to compete and do that they're not interested in playing like all day long like we used to do. You know, used to be there like sun up, sun down. You know, but now people are like a movie. You know, 2 hours. They're like, oh, let's go do something else now.
Yeah, they don't even show up till 11:30, noon, something like that, and then they only play for an hour or two, and then they're out. So recognizing
the difference in customers has been a real big difference. Just, I mean, it's 25 years. It's like, you know, if you're still doing the same thing before the internet, you know, that you're doing right now, you know, then it's probably not working. So.
Right. Exactly. It seems like you guys have evolved a lot, you know, and just in the best of ways. And you guys are, you know, open to change. Like you said, you know, like you said earlier, you know, to open your ears to certain things. It seems like you guys do that very well.
Yeah, much more open-minded than the early years. So, in the early times, like, you couldn't do anything wrong. You know, it was a bad decision. It was still something that worked out. So,
right.
That's true.
Not now.
So, what have you guys learned the most about yourselves? You know, I know in general, just having a business is just so it can be draining. You know, a lot of energy. You know. I have a janitorial business myself, and I had a meal prep business back then. You know, it can take a lot of time, a lot of energy from you, but I'm not gonna lie, I've learned a lot about myself too, of grinding it out. I would like to know, as business owners, you guys, what have you guys learned the most about yourselves?
Let's see. Well, from the beginning, it was, you know, everything was real exciting. You know, like I was saying, you know, it's like Christmas every time you know, and you know, we even bought used equipment and everything. So I would, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go try this gun today. I'm gonna go try this one, and you know, just clean it up, put it back to use again. So, you know, I tried out. We play it. I would open the store in the morning, go play at the field at Borderland down by the store, and then I'd come back at 3, and I'd be still, you know, working, and you know, customers are coming back, and we're all talking and everything. So it was like, so that nice, I don't know, honeymoon, I guess, of when you're starting your own business and doing what you like to do, and then now you're doing it as a business, you can get a little jaded, I guess, through the year.
Right.
You know, you get a little, you know, complacent. So, you know, when everything's going good, you feel like you're not doing anything wrong. But when things start slowing down, you start looking at yourself and like, you know, am I really doing the best I can do? And, you know, so you kind of learn, you know, kind of pick yourself back up, to you don't give up. And at the same time, I still like, I wouldn't want to work in an office. Like that would just drive me crazy. Sitting there in a cubicle answering a phone or something like that. Just, I don't know, it's like I'd die. But
Right.
I still like doing what we do, talking to all the customers, and just the interaction. And because I see that new customer and I can see them when I was 25 years ago, or even longer, that they, the excitement that they have, I know exactly what they have, and bringing those new friends that never played, and you're like, they're all, look at their face and how excited they are. So that helps me like feed, good thoughts, it's like, yeah, those people are really having fun. So that's what keeps me going, making sure everybody's having as much fun as I did when I first started.
That's right. That's right.
How about you, Denise? What was the most thing?
Well, I've always worked outside, so this is awesome for me. I get to still be outside and stuff, but relinquishing things to other people, putting that trust in the staff and everything, and letting them kind of run with things and listening to their ideas and what they have to bring to what we're doing and how we're trying to do it. So it's really been big this year. We've had a really good crew, and we've gotten a lot closer to the crew this year because of COVID. We've all had to kind of work together a little bit
like
more.
our own bubble.
It's our own bubble, it's our little family here. So, and they've really stepped up in a big way. We've had some family issues, and we were able to, the last few weeks, you got to see us, a glimpse of us when we were there on Friday on New Year's Day. We weren't there the whole day. So, and we've gotten tons and tons of compliments from our staff, and just being able to kind of give up, guest control, and kind of like let them do it. And they do a really good job, and they do get a lot of compliments because they are, I'm trying to figure out the word I'm trying to say, but the way we like to see things happen, and they're making it happen. They kind of understand the vibe of, you got to take care of that new player and make sure that they're having a good time, along with the safety, and they're doing it. So
right.
I think one thing I had to add to that is whenever I first started, and like I was when I first opened, I was working like 80, 90 hours a week because we were open 7 days a week till 9. And I was just on Sunday morning, there was nobody come in. I'm just like, I hear the door ding, So, but I had the owner of Borderland who knew, he used to come in and after the field, and we would talk. And he used to work in the corporate world and everything, and he was like consultant and stuff. So, but he eventually said, it's going to come a time, I said, when you can't do all this yourself. I said, you're going to have to learn how to let people do things. So I had this conversation when I was, only a couple of years into this. So I was kind of a little more open to allowing, people to do sales, and, and it doesn't always work out, but you can't not do it. And so Denise, she has her way of doing things at the field, and we found, the staff that really wants to follow what she's doing. So it makes things a lot easier for her to let go a little bit.
Right. So, now kind of going back, I know I'm going back a little bit on how you guys evolved. Cause I just really admire that, how you guys evolved, continue to evolve. 2020. Okay. The year of our Lord, 2020. It was a crazy year. COVID, obviously, all kinds of things going on. It was just a wild year. Now you talked a little bit about, the bubble and the economy and things like that, but how did 2020, how did, last year's events affect the industry or affect you guys specifically?
This, it was really weird because, so the first 3 months, March comes around, we're like, they're talking about shutting everything down and this and that.
Right.
We're like, we're really freaking out. It's like the rest of the world. And we're like, man, they're going to shut us down and we didn't open up till, what was it, May? Well, we opened by appointment, and that was kind of almost a waste of time. But we opened up, I think, in the middle of May finally, and for limited hours and stuff. And then we just realized that everybody was just had so much cabin fever and they had money in their hands from stimulus stuff, and that they didn't, and they couldn't do this or couldn't do that. So all of a sudden it got busy, and all of a sudden for this whole year, this is really weird. You wouldn't think so, but for this year, we're actually busier than we were last year. So even with 2 months of being closed.
And the limited capacity and all of that.
Yeah, reduced capacity for attendance.
Wow.
I think the reservations have actually helped us because people will call and go, well, how many do you have signed up? And you're like, well, we've only actually got 6 spots left, and that people are like more jumping into it to do it instead of, maybe I'll go, they're making that commitment.
I mean, we had like in October, we had one of our busier months, and October is usually our worst month out of the year, besides, along with September. And it was better than Christmas month. So for some reason, people they just wanted new, there was new stuff. But the biggest challenge of this whole time, along, with satisfying this urge of everybody wanting these things, was that manufacturing was just so far behind.
Oh, wow.
Because everything comes from China, and they were shut down, and there's all the factories are empty. And so fortunately for us at Christmas, I had already anticipated, because they said this is in China, and so they're going to shut that down. So I bought a lot of inventory. So when we reopened, we had a lot of inventory, but trying to reorder it, things that used to get every week were taking like 3 months to get.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a big challenge to make orders and, keep people. So maybe that was part of the success, was we actually, were able to keep up on quantities that people wanted.
Right.
So.
And communication too, communicating with the people, what they wanted, and how far out things were going, and, and then just kind of sticking by us with, understanding that, it's everywhere. It's not just paintball. Everywhere you go, you're not getting things that you want. And then, just staying with them and making sure they were kept in the loop of, when something was coming in so that they could get what they wanted. So
we have a good story about COVID for us,
yeah.
But I mean, the rest of people right now are just really, really suffering.
And we have better relationships with our customers right now too. So.
Yeah, because now you check them in every time they come through the driveway, and you check them in personally each time.
Right.
So it's kind of nice that way.
like I said, I mean, I just from hearing about hearing you guys talk and tell your story, I just really admire the way you guys adapt. I mean, that is just that's really something for people to learn from, honestly.
Yeah, it was definitely, like you said, what do you learn about yourself? And it's definitely, you definitely learn something. I mean, I started when I was 25, so
wow.
But at 25, you really don't know much about yourself. So
right.
You just now you do, but you got to make. I think the biggest thing is you got to make the sacrifice and commitment, because a lot of people would say like, I want to go do this instead, and it's like ultimately it's still your responsibility because you're the owner. When somebody doesn't make it to work, you're like you're supposed to have a family birthday or something, like, somebody called in sick, I got to go to work. So a lot of people would just say, well, we're just closed. So, but one day you're closed and you said you were open, it just goes like a wildfire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we've always been that, whatever it took to cover it, we did, so kept it going like that.
Consistency, right?
Yeah.
So
making the sacrifices to.
So I know you guys are a family business, right? And me and my fiance, we run our janitorial as a family business as well. We do find one challenge that we have having a business, I feel like, is finding that family balance, right? Because you're so focused on the business, growing, and business is it profitable and stuff like that. I know you guys have been together for a while, for a good long time now. How have you guys been able to balance the family and the workflow as well?
Well, you don't treat people differently, they always gotta be treated the same. And like something, for a lot of times we have new employees start, and they for the longest time they don't even know that we're married.
Oh wow.
So we just try to keep it professional, and sometimes you don't, and then as as your employees start to know us better, we open up, they open up to us, and then all of a sudden your employees are kind of like family now too. So you don't have that, hey, John over here is like he's the owner's nephew, so got to make we had our nephew work last summer, but you know, I'd like tell him, say, hey, you need to go shovel that gravel over there, you know. So you know, we're, but you know, I didn't give him the easy jobs. You know, we didn't pay him more than anybody else. We didn't,
Right,
you know,
right.
fair, and he had to do the hard work, you know. So because
That's right.
you know, I had to work hard. I'm not giving anybody anything for free.
That's right.
Learn it the hard way, just like I did.
That's pretty good.
And so one of the things I had a question about, because you had mentioned earlier, you know, maybe if back then it was a little easier and whatnot, maybe you probably wouldn't do it if it's now. But what if someone who does want to get into the industry wants to maybe start their own business in paintball, or wants to open up a field? Like, what do you believe is the best advice for that person?
Well, I'll answer the retail part is much more difficult now than it ever was because you know, just your competition isn't the local area you decide to open up in. That's like the least of your worries. It's, you know, being able to sustain all the business that you're losing because everybody wants to shop online. So
right,
you know, making sure that you keep your service and your customer like, you know, servicing equipment, you know, the repairs and stuff. Yeah, that you have, you know, an impeccable reputation, that, you know, knowing the products, knowing how to fix it, doing it timely, being fair priced, you know, not treating the person that bought the equipment online like some, you know, like somebody needs to get out of your store or something.
Right.
You know, you got to treat them right. And you know, eventually they'll come around and understand that, yeah, I really should have bought my gun here because it's the same price, and now I'm spending $40 to fix it. Well, you would have fixed it for free. So that, you know, they just need to learn the hard way a little bit. So but they come around. As far as the field, it's, I guess the golden rule is making sure that your new players are enjoying themselves, because they're what bring people to you again. You know, they're excited, they bring more people. They're excited, they bring more people. So
right,
you really don't spend a lot of money in advertising. You know, we're not looking for that one person and they don't come back again. We're looking for that person that wants to come here all the time.
right.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's how we've operated for forever. You know, it's just people know who we are now. It's been a long time. So even my sister, who's a preschool teacher, she was sitting in on some kind of meeting, and the kid goes, "Oh, your brother owns Velocity?" And she goes, "Oh my gosh, one of those little fifth grader knows who you are." So I mean, that's what we're trying. That's what we want to keep. You know, to keep the excitement in the kids and everybody's enjoying themselves.
That's right. That's right. And I know, so I was thinking, you know, like you said, you got into it a long time ago. Alex just asked the question, if anybody wanted to get into it now, you know, what's your advice? Would you advise people to get into it now? I mean, you know, is that something that you would advise people to get into?
The field, the fields, I think, would be your first thing. We did it back, did the store and did a field, but I think doing a field would help you, you know, attain your own customers and not have to like just, you know, do this price cutting and, you know, the race to the bottom to see who's going to get that customer. But if, you know, if you have a field, you generate your own customers,
right?
And they'll shop with you, and, you know, because they have a relationship. So I would say that would probably be your best way of starting. And then, like I said, retail is tough because there's so much out there to,
right.
They're big companies now too. They're not just little guys like us, and it's not that everybody, you know, would peck at each other, you know. But the field, I would say that's, you know, just got to make sure you got, you know, be smart, do all your homework and research, and
right.
It's not a cheap thing to start, but it's definitely, there's more margin in a field than there is in a store. So.
Okay.
I mean, you guys have definitely, I've seen you guys do the Wednesdays on your Instagram, like Wednesday. You guys have definitely got your clients.
What's up Wednesday? Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys have definitely got your followers really into what you guys are doing at the park. How did you guys start using, like, what was that idea of like start actually using your social media, start getting people more involved in that
I've been trying for years on social media, and I think COVID helped us again this year with that, because people are always looking for something to do, and you're always online and you're always scrolling. So
right.
we picked one thing This was an industry-wide type thing. They said, hey, Mondays do this, Tuesdays do this, Wednesdays do this, and then from that I came up with What's Up Wednesday, because we were putting it on our stories and stuff what we were doing, but only a few people would see that and it goes away. So came up with What's Up Wednesday, and we went every Wednesday basically until the week before Christmas, and then I took 2 weeks off, and then we didn't do one last Wednesday either. But that's stuff's happening in life. Life is getting in the way.
Right.
But there are a lot of things still happening at the park, and I think people glommed onto that because it was happening every single week, and they could see the progress of something happening at the park, or oh wow, that's new, and then it's on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it again. And then maybe they shared it with a friend. Oh my gosh, check this new bunker out that they just made. So I think COVID helped with that because social media is something I've been working on for years, and I've tried all kinds of different things, and I've taken classes and stuff. And paintball is a weird niche, and you either find something and it works for you and you get a whole bunch of followers all of a sudden, or you just keep pecking at it, at it. I'm the same with anything, you just keep working at it until you find the thing.
Exactly.
So.
Well, I think your big thing was you were trying to generate organic
our
followers.
Our followers are all organic too. So. It's not just nothing.
So these are people we interact with a lot.
There's a lot of interaction. There's a lot of communication through our social media. So
one of my favorite things on your guys' page, on the Instagram page, is the camera. You got caught on camera.
Oh, we caught you?
Yeah.
That was weird. It just kind of happened. We had cameras in the time trials, and then field 2, that little tiny field where you can play 2-on-2, 3-on-3. Mm-hmm. There were cameras on that, and I'm like, wow, the quality on here is really good. They're just game cameras, for catching animals out in the field, So I found a 5-pack on Amazon, and I put some more out there, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And that kind of caught on too, because everyone kind of gets to see themselves playing.
And there's some pretty funny stuff.
And then, there's some really funny stuff in there sometimes. And then I figured out how to make the video work. And so it's time consuming. And I think I finally put the Santas and Grinches stuff up, but I still have the weeks after that I haven't sifted through. And last weekends I got to pull off again too. But it is fun to see yourself on the field. And it's kind of like that meme. This is how I think I am on the weekend playing paintball, and this is how I really am, And I caught you tripping over that log, So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
So for a while, it was only paintball for a while. How did you guys start getting airsoft people into the park, or was that even like in the works? Was that you guys in your mind, or did you guys see an opportunity to also get airsoft players into your park?
Well, it started out as one of those open-minded things, and I was asking our employees, like we didn't have stuff in the store yet. I'm like, how many people walk through the door and ask you for airsoft? And he goes, sometimes it'd be like almost half the people are asking about airsoft.
Wow.
So I need to learn this. So we got it in the store first. And then we're just like, people want to play it, just like, normal. And we tried with our guys, but airsoft is just, they like to have a host. They have to have some kind of feel special about being at your park, not just pay admission and go. There has to be something to it. So we had one of the guys that used to work for us do a host, and people really started following him. And they're like, next thing you know, there's like 150 people. So this took a while though. It wasn't just flip the switch, but
right.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where it's drawing too many people and too many personalities, and they weren't working together. And there's one of the unfortunate things about airsoft is that it doesn't mark you. So paintball,
right?
We've always had cheating, but hey, that's right there. But but airsoft,
paint doesn't lie, right?
So now there's too many people playing airsoft that are not keeping up with the code of the game, and kind of ruining it, I think. Because they're doing a lot of the same mistakes that paintball did, but it's even worse for the cheating because you can't even tell. So
exactly.
So we went with it, and there's a good group of people. You know, we try to
Yeah.
find the ones that are there to have a good time, not the ones that want to have a bunch of drama.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I feel like there's no like paint in airsoft, right? Because
No,
I'm not
no, it's not.
I'm
It's
not
just
so
literally
familiar
just a little
with
plastic
airsoft.
ball.
I've just seen like the little
That's
pellets
it. That's it. Yeah, that's
with
it.
colors and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
never knew like if there was.
Bounces off you.
You know, sometimes you don't feel it, you just hear it, you know, because it hits you in the goggles. You don't feel it, or it hits you like whenever you're wearing it. So, you know, but then the full auto thing is getting the guns, the technologies, they're getting so crazy with the rate of fire that it's starting to get people a little upset when they're getting shot too many times now. And this happened in paintball back in the early days too, when semi-auto went a lot faster than, you know, a mechanical gun went to electric, and people were, you know, used to only get shot once or twice. Now you get shot like 12 times. So, you know.
Back when it was 25 balls per second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, kind of gets the tempers up a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Wow. So kind of going back to that, get into airsoft. Guys have been around for a while. Where the sport is today, it's come a long way. But where do you guys like see yourself in another 25 years? And that's like a question I would normally kind of like say for the end. But again, like we're constantly talking about you guys evolving, you guys adapting. I know you guys are going to be around, but where do you guys see yourself in like another 25 years?
let's see. Well, I'm hoping that Brian, our lead, our tech, and our employee I've had the longest, would be learn from me, learn from Denise. He's worked for us since he was like 18. He's 35 now, I think. So,
Wow.
you know, so he's got a lot of experience. The same, you know, even, you know, start out with a lot more experience than I did when I started. I would think that, you know, with him eventually would probably be the one to kind of take over the reins a bit and lead the park and, you know, lead the store. And we kind of 20 years from now, you know, that's going to make us pretty old.
You sit back.
So we're, you know,
Sure.
our mindset's a little different. 20
Yeah.
years from now, like, hopefully we can be doing some, you know, hanging out on some beaches and stuff like that.
Right.
Hiking in the mountains.
But you know, 10 years from now, you know, we're still going to be here, and
That's right.
but you know, we'd like to, you know, make sure that things are getting passed off the same way we do it. And you know, having Brian, who's been with us for so long, I don't think that would even be a concern.
Yeah.
So because he's already
shout out to him, because he's I took my guns in there not too long ago as well, and I know he's the one who's worked on my guns, because he's the one who's called me, hey, your gun is ready, da, da, da. And he's honestly a great tech, because each time I've, you know, taken my gun out to the park or anything like that, or I've had a problem, go to him, you know, and he's the one always at the store, and you know, he's like, this could be this problem, da, 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 da. And honestly, shout out to him, even though I don't know him as well. I just know who he is, because he's the one that's always right there, that customer service
right.
with my marker and whatnot. So
yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
been doing
I'm gonna have to come out and try out this paintball thing, because my only paintball experience was with Alex a few years back, right? It's like it's a few years back.
Like 8 years.
And the only thing I did was I was on the field, but I was just taking pictures of him. So I was on the field getting shot up, but I was at a camera and everything. I thought I was so cool for some reason.
It's different. When you're out there taking pictures of getting shot at, is way different than when you're playing. I feel every hit when I'm taking pictures.
Yeah, actually, it's worse than you hit just taking pictures.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's good to know. So then when I play, it's not gonna be that bad. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, no, the first, you know, like everybody asks kind of what you suggest for, you know, a new player. It's like, you know, the first time around, it's like, you know, just kind of hang back and kind of watch how the game's going. You know, don't go run right up there, because, you know, you don't want to get shot like 5 times and you didn't even know what you were doing. You know, just kind of learn how the gun operates, how far it can shoot, you know, because they're not as accurate as you think they are.
Right.
You know, so, you know, just you got to learn a little bit before you just jump right in there. But then some people are like, okay, I'm good, you know, and they're right into it, you know, and other people are like, you know, kind of hang back a little longer. So everybody's different. So, you know, you live and learn. So
I'll stick around Alex and just hang behind him, and then just watch him a few rounds, and then I'll be all right.
like whenever I hadn't played in a long time, and I was playing her brother and her cousin, they came out for a wedding, so we're like, oh, okay, I have to play now. So, you know, like first round, I was like really cautious, and I'm like, oh, I got hit in the pack. That's horrible. That's a bad, you know, that's the lazy thing. So the next one is like, oh, I'm just like all out there. It's like it's just like riding a bike. You're like, nope, no, I can't. You can't go slow. You got to go fast.
Yeah, you gotta move.
You just got to play like you used to, and you
Yeah.
it all comes back. So
And
even if you've done it in a while.
I do want to also give a shout out to your staff too, because your staff is amazing. When I'm at the park, they're very friendly. They're informational. To the even just to the front desk of getting my paint or paint admission or whatnot. Even entering to the refs that are on the field, to even seeing them being helpful with the players, putting air into the tanks and whatnot for new players and all. You're and that's got to be a compliment to you guys, because your staff is amazing, honestly. And it's a young, I don't know, you haven't been there, but it's a young staff, honestly, from what I've seen, young staff who I believe are under a great leadership. And I believe that these kids who are in your staff are going to grow up to becoming that type of leader, just like your guys' selves, because I honestly, it's a phenomenal time each time I go, especially this last year. I think I went this last year 4 times. And each time it was just, memorable. I'm like, even when I see the one ref, I'm like, oh man, that's the ref that was really cool last time. One time I lost, actually my first time going back into paintball, I lost my keys. And I lost my keys in the field when you go in the driveway to the right, that first field.
Okay.
And, oh my God, I was having having like a little panic attack.
Oh yeah.
Because
I guess we're not leaving.
I know, right? Because it was in the eucalyptus trees and stuff, and like the branches, it was, and he was helping me. I forgot what his name was. He long kind of short hair, blonde, but he was helping me looking for my keys, and luckily the sun was shining onto the keys on the floor. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh wow.
But
Yeah, probably sounds like Ryan.
Maybe Ryan.
I
And
think it is Ryan, because that name does sound familiar.
Yeah.
Yes. So shout out to him for
Yeah,
helping me out.
there's a lot. We hire a lot of young kids, and most of them are up here in Ramona. I think almost everyone is now.
Yeah, everyone lives
High
up
school
here.
kids, and a lot of them will come back, when they've been like 30 plus years old, and said, they really appreciate doing this job. It's taught them a lot about, with people, having to handle people.
That's awesome.
And just they built themselves a lot more confidence and self-esteem by having to, speak publicly and address things. And, they really appreciate the fact that, they just didn't hide in a car and deliver pizza,
Right.
Now that the New Year's coming, you guys are seeing a little bit of more people coming back into the sport, including myself. I'm getting back into the sport again. Do you guys see yourselves creating again like a new tournament series, a new league in the near future, or is that even in the plans, or what do you guys feel about that?
I feel like they're pretty two different elements, and a lot of times they don't work together, because like we've had like a mom is signing in their kids, and then they hear the Pirates on the other side practicing, and the mom's like all of a sudden like ready to grab their kid and leave, because it's very intimidating,
Yeah,
when
you hear all those balls bouncing off the bunkers over there,
Yeah, a lot of
hugging the
yelling
balls,
and everything,
yelling and
and
screaming.
so it's hard to have. I don't think our interest is in tournament, because there's a lot of tournaments that are out there to do, so it's kind of redundant. And the VSS would, we talked about bringing it back. I think if we did, we'd probably just bring it back for one and see how it goes, because I don't think the interest level is there. Like I was saying, people's attention span is a lot different. The commitment they had 10, 15 years ago was much more stronger, and and they were more competitive because they played a lot more. But a lot of people, like we used to, everybody had their own equipment. Like people would buy multiple guns throughout their time of playing. Now a lot of people just buy one, and they're like, they don't see them again, because they just, it's like playing saxophone, like 10 minutes later they're done with it, But so now a lot of kids just come up and they just rent, because we rent better equipment, and they'll just rent the upgrades, and they're not really interested in buying, because they only play 4 or 5 times a year.
Right.
And the equipment can cost you, $700-800 for the, the kind of equipment they're renting. So they just don't, figure on it costing that much, and don't want to spend that much. So they just rent it. So that's a different, that used to never happen. So people wanted their own stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And so I see you guys are, like I said, making you like adding new stuff to the fields, right? Like back in, I feel like I played back in July was when I first got back into paintball. And then, fast forward and I see like, oh wow, it's different. It's a lot cleaner in here and whatnot.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning? I know you guys have the fields, what you guys have right now. Are you guys planning to add more fields to it, to Velocity Paintball?
We just keep, we don't well, we kind of add things, but we also kind of change the existing things, like
Right.
speedball just changed the whole configuration. We added a bunch of bunkers on field 11
11, the trench field. The
and-
trench field has gotten a lot of upgrades. In fact, there's even more work that got done last week that would look totally different than when you were there just 2
Oh,
weeks
wow.
ago. So the one field that we really want to do and add back to the field is small hyperball, but that's going to be a big project. So in adding fields, that would be the only addition. The other is just upkeep and changing the existing fields because it keeps the players coming back. We have guys that play all the time that learn the field, and then you've got that new player that just gets shot out early because the guys that play all the time know how to
Right.
field. So we try to move the bunkers around and change the angles on them so that it's new all the time and different, and they have to keep guessing and have to keep relearning the field. So I think that's what is a bonus for us too, is that we try to do that, and not all the fields do that. So
yeah, we have what 2 or 3 guys every week do like 3 days a week, and just between cleaning, raking things up, just redoing the fields. We do that every week, so it's like they have extra hours during the week to.
Okay.
So that's why there's so many things getting done, but it does take time. So
And so, obviously every industry has its standards, but how do you guys keep up with the creativity? Like you said, constantly changing the field, obviously making things more interesting, making things more competitive, making things more difficult, which ultimately makes things more fun for people. How do you guys, keep up with that creativity?
Well, we both played, so we
Right.
know what we're doing in that way, and we know what people expect. They want sides to be fair. They don't want, you don't want a bunker that's only, like 12 inches high, so, and actually our staff, they take it more seriously than we do. Even they're up with their tape measure and stuff like, they
get out there and they put their input in, and they'll even get in it. They'll like, okay, I want it to be like this, and they'll get in it, and then they'll send a guy to the other side of the field at different angles.
Look at the angles
to kind of look at
wow.
work out. And they'll notice that a couple of fields right now have bunkers with windows in them.
Yes, I see.
To keep them moving in that bunker too, because you don't want them to get complacent behind that big bunker.
Just sit there and camp.
And then at different angles, if someone were to get in a bunker down there, then you're going to get shot out, because you're not paying attention that you're sitting in front of that window. So keeps people moving.
And since they are the referees on the weekends, that are working, they're listening to the customers, and they're seeing problems on the field. Like, nobody ever goes here. We should do something different. This doesn't work. So, that's, you just listen to the customers and you keep trying to, clean things up and make things look fresh. And I think once everybody, you just kind of let things go for years and years, and you kind of turn into some of these other fields that they just, are collected missions and let people play and leave. So, but if you reinvest, people see it.
I think my favorite field has got to be the trenches. That's probably yeah, for sure. My fiance's for sure was that one. The trenches. She had a lot of fun in that one as well. Speaking of fields, how many fields do you guys have? Because I heard you said a field 11. How many?
Yeah, we have 14 on a good day. Because some of them are combined at some point. So
for bigger
crowds. So we can break it up into 14 different fields. So,
but like 11's the
11 is pretty much the standard though. 11 fields.
Okay.
And so before we last couple of questions, what is a message you would like for the audience to hear from you guys, like as either as a business owner or people who want to get into paintball, or people who want to maybe try to open up the field? Like, what is your message out there for the audience who's looking into that avenue?
I think with regards to paintball and airsoft, it's safety first, fun second, and what's fun for you might not be fun for everyone else. So your fun shouldn't be at the expense of someone else.
Mm.
You know? So, if everyone's having fun, then it's fun. But if someone else isn't having fun because of something you're doing, then, maybe take a look at that. So, and change your way.
Yes, listen to what your customers have to say,
Yeah.
listen and, just making sure you're tuning into them and doing something, not just listening and not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you guys have any events coming up soon? Because I know you guys had the Santa and Grinch event last month.
Yeah.
Well, we have another big game coming up, but this Monday, Martin Luther King Day is a $10 day. We do those on holidays sometimes.
Okay.
So if you have some equipment, it only costs you $10 to play, plus paintballs. And then if you're renting, it saves you about $15. So the big game that's coming up is February 21st. It's the Battle for Mount Suribachi in honor of Iwo Jima Day. So there'll be a cap on it because of COVID. So we're not going to open up registration until February 1st. And then it'll close out as soon as it's sold out. So don't wait. Just like Santas and Grinches, don't wait. So many people missed out on Santas and Grinches. So
Yeah, that was sad.
yeah, that was sad.
There's a lot of people that made it every year and they didn't make it this year.
Make it. So
what's the cap right now for, if you don't mind me asking?
Cap for Suribachi is 150. So 75 on 75 is what it's going to end up being. And it was 100 on 100, but that was rough. That was a little rough to manage. And I know if you waited in line in the driveway, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So like, have the capacity amounts like changed, through COVID, because we had shutdowns, we've had, things open back up and close back down. So have the, those amounts, like, have they varied? And do you expect them to continue to vary, or does it look like kind of where it is now? It might hold through 2021, or how's that looking?
For us personally, we're looking at the guidelines and everything too, and we're limiting the capacity, but we limited it through Christmas on our own for the protection of our staff. Really,
that's right.
Because people are not taking things seriously, and groups were expanding. You're supposed to be a group of 10. They'd show up with 30, 35 people.
Wow.
And you could tell those people had not seen each other in a long time.
Yeah, it's just
yeah. And,
right.
Well, it's great. I love, we'd love to have groups that size.
Of course.
But
it's not responsible.
It's not responsible.
That's right.
And it puts our staff in danger. Come on, if one of our people gets COVID, we're shut down.
Right.
And it's not worth it. So from that standpoint, personally, we're keeping our numbers, manageable by the staff, for the staff. So
yeah, like our group sizes are like 10 to 15.
15 max right now.
One in the morning, one in the afternoon. We used to, we used to be able to do like, 4 or 5 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So, we've, cut ourselves considerably, but which kind of hurts because a lot of people really want to play and they're not able to play as much as they want to. So, but everybody else is hurting too, but they're hurting a lot more. Some of these.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
And honestly, I'm kind of glad that you guys are again, flourishing. And unfortunately in these times, but you guys are again flourishing, and you guys are not struggling like you said not struggling, but like you guys had more people this last year than the year before, and that's great to hear and to hear from the industry, right? Especially in Southern California, where that you probably don't know, Southern California was at one point the mecca of paintball.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
And Velocity Paintball is one of those places that's like known. I think I feel, to me, it's in paintball history. Personally, I think it's Velocity Paintball is definitely has its history in paintball.
Yeah,
for sure, because so many great players have come out of there, professionally wise as well. I believe even Marcelo Marga from San Diego Dynasty talks about you guys a lot. Going
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah, he grew up at our
He
field.
grew up at our field. I have pictures of when he was, just a little kid coming out there and playing with his dad.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's cool because I actually just messaged him a few days ago and tried to get him to see on the podcast. He's like, oh man, hopefully next week. I let him know that I had you guys on. He said that was really cool. He said that hopefully next week when he's free, he'll be on the show for sure. So we'll definitely give you guys another shout out then. But for the listeners who want to get to know the park, where can people follow you guys? Where can what social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, where can people find you guys?
Pretty much Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We don't tweet too much, but we try to retweet other paintball
That's right.
parts and businesses and things like that. Anything that sounds cool, we retweet that. But we have the Velocity PB store and Velocity PB on Instagram, and then of course Velocity Paintball Park, and then Velocity Paintball on Facebook, and tons of pictures, tons of video. We have tons of video on YouTube. It's Velocity Paintball and Airsoft on YouTube. So we have a lot of stuff a lot of content on YouTube. So
That's awesome.
And you have any last words for them, Matt?
Yeah. So one quick question. So this is actually pretty funny. So today I was working. I was helping my uncle do some stuff. So my uncle has a son who's 7 and a daughter who's 9. And actually, true story. They're actually talking about my cousin Xavier was talking about he wants to try paintball. Actually, he was literally just before I came here, I was with him, and that's what he was talking about. So he's 7. Okay, he's like a small 7 too. He's like a little tiny kid 7. Is it like safe for kids that age? I mean, for like little 7-year-olds, is it cool? Because it's actually something he's like really interested in.
yes, that is what Splat Camp is all about.
Okay.
12-year-olds, mom and
50 cal.
dad coming out. It's that small ball, 50 cal, low impact, small equipment fits in their hands better. You come out. The next one is the 30th, Saturday the 30th.
Saturday 30th? Okay.
We're asking everybody you do your reservation. I know it says 10 o'clock, but we want you to show up between 9 and 9:30 to check in. 9:30 is when we do our safety brief, and then we issue equipment, make sure everything fits, because they're going to get that chest protector, they're going to get that full face mask goggle, and it's really important that the kids can jump up and down and that goggle doesn't slide. So
Right.
go through all of that, and then we're on the field at 10 o'clock, and we play 3 sets, and we're done by 1 o'clock, and the kids have a blast. So
Wow.
oh yeah.
Or they can do a birthday.
Yeah, and then birthday parties too. We do birthday parties for low impact. 10 right now is the minimum. Maximum right now because of COVID is 15, but it's a good birthday party for that low impact. So
That's actually good to know because also my niece and nephew. Well, my nephew, he's also 8 years old, and he's seeing us as well playing. He's seen his aunt playing. He's like, I want to play so much. And I really didn't know what the age limit. I think I was like 12 or 11 when I first started playing.
Regular paintball has always been like 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And then when they brought out this low impact, they can play as young as 7 to 12-year-olds is what we pretty much, focus on for the low impact. And the kids have a blast.
Okay.
You see the same kid like in all kinds of different kids' birthdays. It's
Oh,
his
yeah.
birthday, his friend's birthday, his brother's birthday.
Yeah.
And they're like they know the ref by name.
Yeah.
So they played like
They
4
start
times.
recognizing the refs. Oh, we had you last time. So,
So they really get into it. So the young kids, and it's just them too, which really makes them feel good.
yeah.
And then
Right.
and they're just they need that little extra encouragement. Dad can come out there, mom out there. Usually, like within the first game, they're like, "See ya,"
Right.
Some extra confidence, which
That's
is fun.
right.
So my last question before we go, just because you said that you guys are gonna have a big game, when you said February 1st is gonna be the registration for that?
February 1st, registration opens, and the big game is February 21st. It's a Sunday.
And it's for anybody, right? And even for the audience who probably is interested, they can even rent their guns there too, right? It's
Oh, yeah.
not like self-equipped or anything like that.
Right. Yep. Rentals, self-equipped, everybody's welcome.
All right, perfect, guys. I'll probably sign up, right when I hear about it, because I've always wanted to be part of a big game. I never had that opportunity to play a big game, so now that you mentioned, I'm definitely gonna look out for that. So for
Yeah, Matt's first time playing can be a big game.
Hey, maybe. I mean, hey, sometimes I like just getting thrown into the fire. So who knows? I might have to just do it.
I'll bring Matt that day. I'll make sure I'll make a reservation.
I got to get back in shape, but yeah, let's do it. Let's do that.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. I know, you guys are busy as well with the business and whatnot, but it's an honor to have you guys.
It is an honor.
The show, honestly, and know the history of Velocity Paintball, something that I personally always wanted to know because I've always was a fan of Velocity Paintball store and field. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Any last words from you?
For having us.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Thanks very much.
Yeah, it was a fun interview.
Yes.
Yeah, and like again, just want to say I just again really admire you guys, not only like I said, not only for your longevity, but just how well you adapt. I think we're all about our audience being able to take something from our show, whether it be from us or who we're interviewing. We want people to be able to take something positive from it, and I really think that's an amazing thing for people to take from this episode. Just being able to adapt, evolve, being open-minded. Just want to say I really admire you guys for that.
Thank you very much.
And the leadership too. I mean,
yes,
like
definitely.
I'm astonished with the staff that you guys have, especially now. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember the staff back when I used to play Velocity a lot, but I'll remember this staff for sure, because this staff is honestly, it's a great staff that you guys have at the moment. They make it very, very friendly for everybody to join and whatnot. They're not letting and I've seen it where like the more advanced players will be like, can we just do this and that? And then your staff is like, no, like, this is for everybody. Like it's equal opportunity. We're not.
Well, if we weren't there, they would say yes, but it's not. You can't let the one person rule the whole group. It's
right.
Like, just doesn't mean they're the voice. So.
Yeah.
Of course.
No, but thank you guys.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear that. And thank you for the compliments. It's really good to hear, and I'm sure the staff will be ecstatic. So
yeah, that's some good things.
It's nice to have that positive stuff come through.
Definitely.
Especially Ryan. Thank you, Ryan, for helping me find my keys. Oh man, I would have been in trouble that day. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys.
Once a month, probably.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming on this show.
Thank you guys.
You guys heard it here.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Audience, check out Velocity Paintball. If you've never played paintball in your life, this is a perfect opportunity. Play a Velocity Paintball, especially at the big game, guys. You guys here with the reservation. Also, you said $10 on
$10 day on Martin Luther King Day, and there'll be another one on President's Day. So.
Yeah, check them out on social media.
Yeah, guys, and make sure you guys have that reservation before you guys go too, because it's a very strict right now with everything that's going on. Velocity's got to look out for their staff too as well. So it's all about safety first, fun second.
That's right. Safety first, fun second.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night. All right.
Have a good one. See you guys on the 21st. 21st. All right. Yeah.